we'll be able to start multiple conversations. Our first story revisits the temple town of Dharmasthala that has been harboring a dark secret. Human skeletons buried in mass graves have raised unsettling questions about a hidden past. On the long-form story, the latest findings of the SIT and what's at stake. Next, we take you to the Middle East, where after a 2-year-long impasse, Israel is mulling a re-entry into Gaza with the hope of a complete annexure and return of hostages. Prime Minister Netanyahu's pledge to regain control over Gaza comes with mounting challenges and a divided political front. Republic Senior Executive Editor Abhishek Kapoor brings you the ground situation. And finally, the Augusta Westland scandal involving a 2010 helicopter deal worth over 3,700 crore rupees, which has exploded into fresh allegations of corruption. Christian Michel, the man under the spotlight, has now admitted to wrongdoing, a story that Republic has closely tracked and followed for years. On the long-form story, let's get on. In the sacred hills of Dharmasthala, faith and fear now walk side by side. What was once a quiet temple town is today the epicenter of Karnataka's most chilling investigation. Human skeletons, mass graves, and whispers of violence buried for years. As the SIT digs deeper at spot number 13, every bone tells a story. And every discovery raises the same haunting question: who were they? And why were they silenced?
In the shadowed hills of the Western Ghats, nestled between dense forests and ancient shrines, lies a town that has long stood as a symbol of peace, service, and unwavering tradition. Dharmasthala. A name that resonates with devotion, a name that commands reverence across Karnataka. But today, the silence of this sacred land is pierced not by the chants of pilgrims or the chimes of temple bells, but by the metallic clang of shovels and the slow, measured steps of forensic investigators. What began as dismissed rumors and so-called false accusations has now transformed into one of the most chilling and mysterious investigations Karnataka has seen in recent memory. Human skeletal remains, not one, not two, but multiple, emerging from the very earth at spot number 13, buried deep in the soil of Beltangadi Taluk. No flesh, no fabric, no belongings. Just bones, skulls, rib cages, traces of human life, now reduced to fragments. For years, these remnants lay silent beneath layers of mud and memory. But now, exposed to air and light, they seem to whisper secrets long buried. Let us go back in time to last week's episode. It began with disbelief. When the first bones surfaced, authorities hesitated, unsure. Some suspected them to be animal remains discarded in secrecy. The excavation moved slowly, carefully, with uncertainty and suspicion clouding every move. Villagers gathered, watching, whispering, sharing old stories and half-remembered tales. Some spoke of long-forgotten conflicts, others of crimes that were never spoken of. Forensic teams from Mangaluru and Bengaluru were brought in, Samples were gathered, tents and cordons soon marked the area. The ground was sealed, and then came confirmation these were human remains. But that chilling confirmation was only the beginning of what was to follow. This week has been a very, very crucial week as far as the entire case is concerned. With every passing hour, new discoveries came to light. 2 complete skulls were unearthed. Their condition shocked even seasoned experts. Blunt force trauma, clean, sharp incisions, cracks that suggest violence. These were not natural deaths. These were attacks. These were murders. These individuals, whoever they were, met violent ends, and their killers chose silence, choosing to bury them not just in soil, but in time. The SIT, once hesitant, has now ramped up its efforts. Reinforcements have arrived. Teams have expanded. The machinery has changed. Ground-penetrating radar, a sophisticated device used to detect underground anomalies, has now been deployed to peer deeper into the earth. With this, the SIT is not just focused on spot number 13 anymore. The search has widened, more graves may lie hidden, more secrets yet to be found. But the questions remain. Who were the victims? When did they go missing? And why here, in this isolated, hidden patch of forest? Preliminary reports suggest the bones are not from a single incident. Some are over 10 years old, some more recent, different stages of decay. This was not a one-time event, this was systematic, a method, a recurring act over time. Investigators believe there could be links to unresolved murders, missing persons, cases from the region, cases that were forgotten, closed or buried in paperwork. But there's another complication. Spot number 13 sits at the edge of 2 police jurisdictions, Beltangadi and Sulia. Jurisdictional confusion has slowed archival searches, delay in report transfers, missed connections in evidence. But the science does not wait. 4 more sites have now been identified for further examination. Each one spotted through tip-offs, drone surveys, or suspicious land topography. Villagers say they always sensed something, that unease, that fear of the unknown. Men arriving late at night whispered warnings to stay indoors. The government has now asked all Gram Panchayats in the region to report any cases of missing persons, unclaimed land, and unresolved violence over the past decade. And still, even with all these developments, we have no names, no photos, just skeletal remains. But the labs in Bengaluru are working. DNA extraction is in progress. Every fragment may help restore someone's identity, someone who went missing. Officials remain tight-lipped, but off record, some admit this case is unlike anything Karnataka has ever seen. Hidden mass graves, systematic silence, deliberate dumping of human lives. It is a crime not just of murder, but of erasure. Dharmasthala, once known only for faith, now sits under the shadow of suspicion. In the heart of devotion, something else has been silently growing, a story too disturbing to ignore. While temple bells ring and lamps are lit in prayer, just a few kilometers away, another kind of ritual continues. The ritual of uncovering truth, of exhuming secrets from deep beneath the soil. Under tarpaulin covers, in hushed conversations, the SIT soldiers on. What they are digging is not just soil, but history, one that was never written, but only buried. One that speaks of shadows that lived among the faithful, of lives ended before their time, of families that may still be waiting for answers and for their loved ones. The nation watches, some with dread, others with hope, because in the end, this is not just about a case in Dharmasthala. This is about memory, justice, and the uncomfortable truth that no place, no matter how sacred, is immune to darkness. The truth is surfacing slowly and painfully. And in a land known for faith, it is justice that now waits to rise from the soil.
Ladies and gentlemen, it was a morning that changed everything. On 7th of October 2023, Hamas terrorists crossed into southern Israel in a brutal and unprecedented assault that left deep scars across the nation. Nearly 2 years on, the memories of that day continue to define Israel's politics, security decisions, and the national psyche. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed to reassert control over Gaza, framing it as a necessary move to secure Israel's future and bring its people back. But the ground reality is far more complex. Survivors are still grieving, families of the hostages are growing increasingly impatient, and political divides over accountability and strategy have deepened. On the long-form story, the ground reality of the Israel-Hamas conflict.
Nearly 2 years ago, Hamas terrorists unleashed a brutal assault on southern Israel, shattering lives and tearing families apart. "1,200 lives lost, 200 plus ripped off their homes and taken hostage." Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has signaled plans to reassert control over Gaza, a move he frames as critical to national security. This push for re-annexation is aimed at preventing another Hamas-led assault and bringing the long-standing hostage crisis to justice.
Israel is under tremendous diplomatic pressure globally to end this war. And in the face of this kind of pressure for Netanyahu to say, no, in fact, I'm going to double down on my war on Hamas and intensify it further, then he has to have a ramp off, as the Americans would say. He said, we are going to double down on military operations. The war is going to intensify. And once it ends with the complete decimation of Hamas, we want a government there, a good government there, but not of Hamas and not of Palestine Authority. The world community can come together and decide and give a good governance and structure to the people of Gaza Strip.
For Israelis, the fight for closure continues. On the ground, in the heart, and in the halls of power.
This past weekend, Hamas and Islamic Jihad cruelly released horrifying videos of our hostages, Eviatar David and Rom Broslavsky. The world witnessed their terrible condition, starved, tortured. Eviatar was forced to dig his own grave. The world saw the thick arm of the well-fed terrorist next to the starved and tortured Eviatar.
חופר את הקבר, קבר שמיד מבחינתי לי, כי כל יום שעובר הגוף שלי הולך, נחלש, נרזה יותר וחלש יותר.
A young Aviatar was kidnapped from the Nova Music Festival. His present conditions haunt the nation like those of the families of 50 plus other hostages awaiting justice.
ובאמת, כל יום שהולך ועובר, הזמן נגמר, הזמן הולך ואוזל, ורק אתם תוכלו לעצור את זה, כדי שנוכל לשכב במיטה שלי.
Inside Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the government grapples with the global fallout of the conflict. The ministry has condemned Hamas's tactics, accusing them of using civilians as shields while holding hostages in tunnels.
כבר הרבה מאוד זמן, כבר כמה חודשים.
This is Jerusalem Hall of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Israel in Jerusalem, and we have just finished a press briefing by Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar. All the hostages on both the sides should be released, where Israel maintains that what they have are terrorists of Hamas, and the hostages, the civilian hostages, is what Hamas captured and is keeping them. In fact, he did this press conference in the backdrop of one of the hostage victims, Eviatar David, whose pictures, haunting pictures, which came out just a couple of days back. He remains in the custody and captivity of Hamas in Gaza, and in many ways he has become the picture of Eviatar has become the picture of the condition of hostages for the release of whom talks are going on. Israel maintains it's not going to stop its war till the hostages are released, and Hamas says that's their, unfortunately, currency with which they are trading for a ceasefire.
The ministry's reports align with survivor accounts, painting a picture of calculated brutality that has fueled Israel's resolve to dismantle Hamas. In July 2025, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made his first visit to Niroz. Nearly 21 months after the attack, his promise to rebuild and bring hostages back home was met with both embraces and outrage.
מחויבות עמוקה, קודם כל להבטיח חזרתם של כל חטופינו, כולם, אבל גם מחויבות עמוקה לפעול כאן לשקם את הקיבוץ הזה ולהחזיר חיים לאנשים.
Netanyahu's visit, seen by some as a photo op, underscored a divide. While he pledges action, survivors demand accountability for the failures of October 7. But why is it that Gaza remains the focus? Because on the ground, Israelis live with fresh memories of October 7th. Communities like Niroz and Nahalos, just miles from the border, bear scars the time hasn't healed. The need for normalcy drives daily life, even as rocket alerts persist.
There's a certain haunting eeriness as we walk around this near kibbutz, which remains unoccupied because all the residents, 1/4 of whom were actually massacred on October 7, 2023. Those who survived live at other places, though we are told that this is going to be re-established again. But just look at this. This is one of the houses, and this belonged to David Konio. He was 33 at that time. And then you have the entire family. So brother, sister-in-law, wife, sister, some relations, including kids, they were inside. And we are told that October 7 was a day after the Shabbat. Shabbat is typically a Jewish day, weekly off, when the entire family comes and has dinner. The entire family was here a day before, which is October 6, and about 12 or 13 of them. And on October 7, half of them perished. In fact, the two brothers were kidnapped along with the children. They were in fact inside when the terrorists came in, and they locked themselves inside, as it happens in Israeli homes. Even in kibbutz, there is a safe room. They locked themselves inside. So what the terrorists did, we are told, is that they cut off the pipe and they put it inside and turned this house. This is a gas supply line for the kitchen, and they turned the house into a gas chamber. And you can imagine what emotions this thought of a gas chamber generates in the minds of the Jewish community. And so these people inside this house were forced to come out. They came out, and they were captured, kidnapped, and they were taken to Gaza Strip. We were told that out of those 6 or 7 who were kidnapped, only 2 came back, and some were killed, and their bodies repatriated, including these little kids.
Nir Oz kibbutz, once a peaceful farming community, now a symbol of loss.
I see that this is one of the homes which lies in ruins, devastated completely, and seems it was the residence of Oded Lifshitz.
That's right.
24 years old. He was 83 at that time.
That's right.
And so, and is he abducted, because it says bring him home now?
Actually, this is not actualized, but he was abducted here with his wife, Yocheved Lifshitz. Oded was murdered in the Gaza Strip, and Yocheved was released the 14th day of the war. She was the first lady released. Oded, 83 years old, he was a pacifist. He was a man that used to take people from the Gaza Strip to sleep in his house. They take him for different medical treatments, like oncologic treatments and dialysis treatments and so on. He really, the people that used to live in this kibbutz were the people of the left of the Israeli society that really wanted to live aside with the Palestinians. And this is the way Hamas paid to them.
The Nova Music Festival, a celebration of peace and music, turned into a slaughter. Over 200 young Israelis were killed, dozens taken hostage. The site remains untouched, a stark reminder of the attack's brutality.
We are in the midst of the Nova Music Festival spot where the October 7 terror attack began, and this has turned into a memorial where people come and pray for those who lost their lives, bless their souls. This, for example, is someone identified as Ofek Arbib, seems like was a soldier, and story says, imagine this boy, this student who you have probably seen in your classroom, the king of his class, and then the entire story. Imagine a soldier sitting down for lunch when a woman approaches asking for charity and tells him about her family of 11 struggling to make ends meet, and basically a life sketch of Ofek, and he was here. Similarly, in this case, for example, Dor Avitam, probably he liked playing guitar, and that's why the family has put in a guitar for him at this spot. There are candles and there are prayers like these put by families, friends coming in. And then we have stories like this one. Ronnie Polvanov, Bar Zohar, and each of them, they were here amongst the revelers of about 3,000 size, enjoying the music and dance, and that's when the terror attack happened, and about 364 of them lost their lives here only. Many of them were captured and taken back to the Gaza Strip, which is just a few kilometers from here. And since then, Israel, of course, has been in a war with Hamas.
Today, the site is a pilgrimage for families and survivors, a place to mourn and demand the return of those still in Gaza.
All those kibbutz and the Nova festival, which were targeted by the Hamas terrorists on October 7, on that fateful day, are in this part of Israel, and this is a place which has all those cars that were destroyed, and every car, in fact, we are told, has a story, and that's why you see those QR codes. So this is a Toyota Hilux from Nir Oz, which is a kibbutz, and this QR code, if you scan, it tells you the story behind who all were there in this car when these terrorists attacked and got killed. So if you look at this, for example, we are told this is an ambulance, and the terrorists had hijacked this ambulance, and unsuspecting people in those kibbutz, they thought this is an ambulance coming, and that's when they got targeted and killed. In fact, there were about 8 bodies found from inside this vehicle, which used to be an ambulance. Hamas terrorists had captured it, and subsequently, of course, all the rituals and the last rites were carried out. But this really gives you an idea of the kind of scale of destruction. About 1,500 cars at this graveyard. Effectively, this is very close to Gaza Strip. Just about, we are told, 1 kilometer odd is the distance from where the Gaza Strip starts. And these Hamas terrorists carried out their air and land attack. It was a naval attack also, but this part, it was essentially a land attack with the Hamas terrorists breaking open through the walls and fences and coming in. I'll show you those couple of vehicles which were used by Hamas terrorists, improvised with machine guns, and that really gives you an idea of the kind of planning that went into the attack.
Near Nero's, the Takuma car cemetery holds the wreckage of that day. Vehicles from the Nova festival and kibbutzim frozen in time. Each car tells a story of escape attempts, of lives cut short.
So if you look at these two vehicles, both Toyotas, and these are standard vehicles used in Israel, and Hamas terrorists got these from their side, from the Gaza Strip. If you look at it, absolutely normal random vehicle picked up, but look at that structure, that steel structure, on both the Toyotas, and those were used to fix their machine guns, and they came riding on these and using the part where they stood and fixed those machine guns, and then targeted those unsuspecting civilians inside the kibbutz. And you can imagine, with the kind of advantage they had of the height, they would have the number of people they could target. About 1,200 perished in that attack on October 7, and this really gives you an idea of the kind of planning that had gone into the attack carried out by Hamas. All these vehicles tell a story, and while they were brought here in a random manner, but now it seems it's become a place where a lot of people are coming to connect with the pain of the families whose members perished. And every car has a story with these QR codes giving it. In fact, this one says terrorist vehicles, Dodge, Ram, Isuzu D-Max, and so essentially one is a Toyota, the other is a Dodge.
As Israel navigates its grief, the fight for hostages and healing continues. The government remains under intense pressure to bring back its citizens. Israel seeks a path to normalcy, one step, one memory, one hope at a time.
A 3,726 crore rupees helicopter deal meant to enhance India's defense capabilities has spiraled into a massive scandal. Augusta Westland's 2010 contract sparked corruption accusations with Christian Michel, a key middleman extradited to India in 2019. Now in 2025, Michel admits to corruption, but only in Italy, not India. With ongoing investigations and political fallout, the real question remains, will the full truth ever come to light? Or is this web of deceit too tangled to unravel?
Christian, would you want to speak? Christian, would you give facts to India? Christian, will you tell the truth about those names?
वाड्रा गांधी फैमिली या कांग्रेस पार्टी के लिंक थे क्रिश्चियन मिशेल के साथ।
मैं किसी को आरोप करना मेरा काम नहीं। इन मुद्दों पर भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर के सवाल उठते हैं, लेकिन जांच दबाई दी जाती है।
You were in contact with certain bureaucrats and intermediaries here in India. Were you in touch with the Gandhi family? Those who have been named in the case, have you ever spoken to anyone?
A multi-crore VVIP helicopter deal meant to enhance India's defense quickly unraveled into a scandal. In 2010, Augusta Westland secured a Rs 3,600 to Rs 3,726 crore contract for 12 AW101 helicopters, 8 for VVIPs like the then President and Prime Minister, 4 for high-priority missions. By 2011, Italian authorities accused former IAF chief SP Tyagi and family for taking bribes to rig the deal. The scandal went global. In 2018, British middleman Christian Michel was extradited from the UAE. By 2025, he admitted to corruption, but only under Italian law. So who is Christian Michel? Why is he the focal point of the case despite the other big faces? Is he a mere pawn or the kingpin?
Yeah, is this Christian Michel?
Yes, speaking.
Yeah, this is Abhishek Kapoor from Republic TV in India, New Delhi.
Oh, hello.
Hi, Mikhail. This is, regarding the Augusta Westland case, because a charge sheet has been filed by the CBI today.
Right.
And your name is there as an accused. So we wanted your reaction to this.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reaction just, there doesn't ever seem to be any evidence being placed.
No, obviously they have evidence. That's why they have put you in the charge sheet. They have put your name as an accused in the charge sheet. They have evidence.
Right. But I mean, I thought I had been charge sheets already against me.
Right, and this is a fresh charge sheet in which you are named as someone who gave kickbacks to the Tyagis. You gave the money to manipulate the deal.
Oh, really? Okay, now, all right.
As the middleman, yeah.
No, I mean, there's definitely no evidence, and it's complete nonsense.
So, in a twist of fate, the CBI finally got their hands on Michel and had him extradited to India. Turns out, Michel had allegedly been hired by Augusta Westland to influence a few key players, politicians and officials. Along with his partners in crime, Carlo Gerosa and Udo Hashke, he was accused of masterminding a bribery scheme to secure the lucrative deal.
Christian Michel, that we have accessed, because this is the full extradition tape. The moment he landed in India at the Indira Gandhi International Airport, the technical area side, from there he sits in the car and he's brought to the CBI headquarters late in the night, where he was questioned.
This is the cavalcade. These are the cars carrying Christian Michel. This is the security protocol. This is the security protocol. You are going to see more and more cars on your screens right now. And that is Christian Michel. First visuals on your screen. Christian, would you want to speak? Christian, would you want to speak? Christian, have you turned an approver? Christian, would you give facts? Christian, would you give facts? Christian, would you give facts to India? Christian, would you give facts? Christian, would you give facts at last? Christian, would you tell the truth? Christian, would you tell the truth? Christian, will 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 you tell the truth about those names? Christian, will you tell the truth about the names? What are you doing? Christian, will you tell the truth about the names? Christian, Michel, Niranjan, not going. The class is covered. Yes, Christian, will you tell the truth about the family? Christian, and that's the car getting in. Christian Michel, first visuals on your screen, Niranjan, here on Republic. The cavalcade gets in. You have the senior CBI officials right there accompanying. It's an 8-car cavalcade entering the CBI headquarters.
But why was Michel so crucial? Well, in 2012, raid on Hashke's Swiss home had uncovered a diary. Nothing too dramatic, just some scribble notes with acronyms and amounts that could very well have been the smoking gun behind the entire scandal. Hashke, who later cut a deal with prosecutors, admitted the handwriting was his, but claimed Christian Michel dictated the note. The BJP, then in opposition, did not hold back, alleging that acronyms like AP and FAM stood for Congress leader like Ahmed Patel and the Nehru-Gandhi family. But the real question remains, how did these acronyms end up in the diary? And for what purpose?
This is the man who actually knows the deal at the back of his hand, and that is exactly what he's also told the Dubai investigators with regards to the people who are basically involved. He's also admitted that there are 3 individuals who are actually accused in the case that has been presented by the Indian authorities. These 3 individuals who played a very important role as far as the negotiation of the deal goes. In fact, in 2005, when Christian Michel traveled at least 9 times.
Would you like to say anything, Mr. Tyagi? Very happy. I'm very happy. Come. Sir, you are saying you are very happy. Sir, you are saying very happy. Why am I, sir? Sir, why are you asking me this question? Why are you asking me this question? Who are you? Firstly, tell me who are you? Who are you?
I'm a journalist.
ना देखो हॉट जर्नलिस्ट यार, जर्नलिस्ट तो सभी होते हैं, कौन हो तुम? क्या क्या कोई आप मेरे मुंह पे देखिए, तमीज से बात करेंगे आप। हाँ, ये नहीं कर सकते आप, मेरे को तंग नहीं कर सकते आप, है ना? आपको सवाल पूछना बात और है, लेकिन तंग नहीं कर सकते, ये नहीं कर, you know this changing me and not.
In 2012, the government ordered a fresh probe into the alleged malpractices in the procurement of 12 VVIP helicopters for the Indian Air Force from Italian firm AgustaWestland. Replying to the opposition, the Defence Minister A.K. Antony was hell-bent on ensuring a fair investigation into the deal.
Once we get a report of the preliminary inquiry from the CBI, and if otherwise also we get any evidence from other courts, I assure you, we will take the strongest action as per the Integrity Pact.
When Congress President Sonia Gandhi's name emerged in the Choppergate scandal, the situation took an even murkier turn. No wonder the late Manohar Parrikar was right on the money when he called for a thorough investigation from all angles.
जो मैंने सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस दिखाया, उससे भ्रष्टाचार कोई पावरफुल व्यक्ति के हाथ से हुआ है, ये स्पष्ट हो गया। मैं किसी का नाम नहीं लूँगा, लेकिन मुझे लगता है जांच सभी एंगल से होनी चाहिए, सभी डॉक्यूमेंट्स के प्रॉपर रीडिंग, प्रॉपर उसका मतलब निकाल के करने चाहिए।
Though Congress Supremo very sternly rejected these claims.
ये आरोप जो है बिल्कुल बेबुनियाद है, निराधार है, झूठ है। अब लोग सरकार में हैं 2 साल से, इंक्वायरी जल्दी से जल्दी बिना भेदभाव कंप्लीट कर दो, सच्चाई सामने आएगी।
While the Modi government earned diplomatic acclaim for mending India-UAE ties and securing Christian Michel's extradition, his revelations did not simplify matters. Instead, with big names surfacing, the case sank into deeper murk.
क्रिश्चियन मिशेल जो अगस्ता डील के दलाल है, आप कॉइन करते हैं ये फ्रेज, आपने कहा मामा चाचा की सरकार। लोग कहते हैं आप किसको रेफर कर रहे हैं, मिशेल मामा की बात आती है, मगर सीधा सवाल ये है कि आप ये कह रहे हैं मोदी जी कि वाड्रा गांधी फैमिली या कांग्रेस पार्टी के लिंक थे क्रिश्चियन मिशेल के साथ, जैसे उनके लिंक थे ओटावियो क्वातरोकी के साथ।
मैं किसी को आरोप करना मेरा काम नहीं है। ये तय है, मेरी सरकार आने से पहले इन मुद्दों पर भ्रष्टाचार को लेकर के सवाल उठे थे, लेकिन जांच दबाई दी जाती थी। मैंने आकर के कहा भाई जो सत्य हो उसको खोजो। कोई केस मैंने रजिस्टर नहीं किया है, पहले हुआ है, कोर्टों से निकला हुआ है। अब क्या मैं भी लिपापोती करूं, मैं मिशेल को लाने का प्रयास करूं? मैं लाया हूं, जेल में बंद पड़ा है, वो सरकार को जानकारियां दे रहा है और लोगों को पकड़े जा रहा है।
In 1999, the Indian Air Force set out to buy 12 VVIP helicopters. By 2010, AgustaWestland had secured the rupees 3,600 crore contract. Allegations followed soon after, with claims that specifications were adjusted to help the company win, like reducing the helicopter's service ceiling from 6,000 meters to 4,500 meters, a small tweak, surely. In 2013, the CBI filed an FIR, naming former IAF chief SP Tyagi and 12 others, including his family and 3 middlemen. Notably, Italian nationals Carlo Gerosa and Guido Hashke. Michel and the other middlemen had distinct roles in the Choppergate scandal, while Gerosa and Hashke allegedly bribed the Tyagi family. Michel worked his way through the Ministry of Defense and political corridors. In 2018, Michel's lawyer Rosemary Patrizi and sister Shasha Ozeman revealed he was detained in Dubai and grilled by the CBI. They claimed the officials pressured him to sign a confession, allegedly tying him to the Congress leader Sonia Gandhi during the deal's talks. Interesting, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this breaking news exclusive. I have with me Rosemary Patrici. She is Christian Michel's lawyer, and she is now in India to defend her client, an AgustaWestland
accused Christian Michel. Thank you very much, Rosemary, for joining me. Why is your client, Christian Michel, not cooperating with the Indian authorities? Why is he not cooperating?
No, this is not true. No, please don't start telling things that is not true. He's cooperating, but the policy, the CBI, the investigators, they are not doing the work as I think they should do. So today I will talk with the judge, or my local lawyer will say to judge the things that we are not happy about the interrogation on CBI headquarters.
No, you are not happy, but the job of the agencies is not to make you or Christian Michel happy. The job of the agencies is to get the truth. Why is your is there some political instruction on your
yes,
on your
but you see there are many listen there are many ways to get the truth, but there are ways that is not allowed by the law.
What are the ways? What are the
we
ways
have
you are
to
insinuating?
watch this, and we have to. I'm saying that he is getting a bad time. They are pushing him so hard, and that's why I'm here in Delhi, and I really trust the judge.
Rosemary, tell me, the reports say that Michel has told the CBI that his father, Wolfgang Max Richard, was known to the late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and was very close to the Gandhi family.
I told you the first
correct?
time I spoke with you on 2016 that Mr. Christian Michel had a very bad relationship with his father. They had even a case in London. They had a big problem between them. They didn't get well together. Maybe because they are not in the same way of thinking. You know, they have a different views of things. So
it is not incorrect to say that there is a connection between the Gandhi family and Christian Michel family.
Doesn't mean that my client. No, Arnabi, you have to understand. His father is a person, my client is someone else. You cannot say that because his father was against a friend, my client must be their friends too.
Eight months after an Italian appeals court acquitted two former Leonardo executives, Giuseppe Orisi and Bruno Spagnolini, in the Augusta Westland bribery case, fresh revelations reignited the controversy. Just days after the court's detailed judgment, news surfaced that alleged middleman Christian Michel's extradition to India had been cleared by a Dubai court. Years have passed, accused have been apprehended, others acquitted, and multiple agencies have peeled back layer after layer of this case, yet nobody, not one soul, has cracked what the acronym BUR, FAM, AP and POL actually mean. Who or what do they point to?
So Mr. Michel, can you please, since the start of this investigation, there has been mention about bribing the intermediaries and certain politicians and bureaucrats. So who were those people? Can you give some names?
Let me tell you, there's no corruption that took place in India. I was very much aware of everything. There is no corruption in India. The corruption took place in Italy. It's an Italian political affair. It's got nothing to do with India.
Christian Michel, a British national and the middleman behind the deal, remains in Indian custody. Though the Delhi High Court recently denied his bail plea, Michel claims the corruption occurred in Italy and not in India. Is this confession opening Pandora's box or charting an unexplored trajectory? One thing is clear, the case is far from over.
That's all that we could pack in this edition of the LongForm Story. We'll be back next Saturday with more in-depth stories from across the country.
Amity is proud to announce the commencement of its 12th university in India, Amity University, Hyderabad. At the prime location of AeroCity Hyderabad Airport, has a strong focus on high-end research with brilliant students and distinguished faculty who share our mission to change the world together.